Some say Uber, and some, like my iPhone with voiceover, say Uber. And I'm going to do a podcast for you to describe how to download Uber, how to get started, getting familiar with the different screens, taking a ride, and then wrapping up once you're finished, and even follow up receipts and so forth. This is Mike May, and I think that Uber is one of the most incredible things that's happened to blind people in many years. It's just been in the last couple of years that we've had what is generically called ride-share services. There are a number of them, but by far Uber is the leading app worldwide. And it's in quite a few cities. I've taken it in several countries all over the U.S. and in Canada. It varies a little bit in terms of the options from city to city. So when I describe things, it may be a little different than the city that you're in. And of course, over time, things may evolve as features are added, cities are added, and so forth. But I think we'll be able to cover 90% of what will be common between us. There's a number of benefits to Uber and using a rideshare app. There's no waiting on hold if there's a ride available, which isn't always the case, but most of the time, particularly in big cities, the wait time to even get a ride could be a couple of minutes to 15, 20 minutes, but you don't have to wait on hold and guess at what time your taxi will arrive. You don't have to keep calling back and saying, where is my taxi? And all of the guesswork that goes into that whole system. There's a lot more security because your position and the ID of the driver are always known. So if you ever have an issue, you can easily report it. Also, when you're trying to quickly get out of the vehicle, you don't want to be messing with cash, potentially losing some items or your wallet or forgetting something because you're at a curb and trying to rush to get out or dealing with your dog or whatever. It's a lot easier because your credit card is on file. When you're finished with your ride, you just get out and go. That's it. You don't have to tip. You can if you want, but it's not required, and so you don't have to have any exchange of money as you leave the vehicle. I should mention that I have more than a passing interest in Uber. I'm so excited about it that I've been in touch with the company and given them feedback, as have a lot of blind people, and I was fortunate enough to become a beta tester because there are always little things that aren't accessible in an app and things can get broken and they need a full voiceover user to be looking after those things. The nice thing is that within the company, within engineering, all of the teams are responsible for making their component of the app accessible. This is something I wouldn't think most companies are attending to as well as I believe Uber is. It can often be frustrating trying to get a taxi in a city. You're trying to wave them down or getting somebody to help you wave them down. And then a lot of times taxis will go by without even stopping because they see you have a dog or for whatever reason you just don't know as a blind person when taxis are passing you by. Even when taxis do pull up and stop either on the street or perhaps at a hotel entrance, they sometimes will reject the dog. I've found it to be as many as 1 out of 3 times in a place like San Francisco where it's particularly bad. I hope that improves over time, but it's very frustrating when you're trying to go somewhere and then you need to stick up for your rights and argue with somebody, and that kind of confrontation can completely ruin your day. But it happens more often than not. That is a situation that should happen very infrequently, if ever, with Uber. It's only happened to me 1 out of well over 100 and some odd rides so far. It can happen, but the good news is there's a zero tolerance policy with the company. They will take that driver off of the platform if they reject you with the dog. And there's a real strong campaign to educate drivers about dogs, including a video for them to see, better understand the situation. Because a lot of times it's just a matter of misinformation. Drivers don't know about a guide dog versus a personal pet. I'll be using my iPhone 6 with VoiceOver and the Alex voice to demonstrate this app. The user interface may change, as I've said, over time, and it may vary from location, but what I show you here should be a pretty good representation of how it all should work. I am assuming that so far you have downloaded the app, search for it on the website under Uber, get the download, and then you go through the normal process of signing up. This can sometimes be tricky with a touch interface because you're entering a credit card and a lot of details that take a fair bit of typing. I should mention on my phone I have the touch typing mode enabled. There's a way that you can share your promo code with somebody else. They get their first ride for free and you get X number of dollars off your rides. It's a good way to save money and to turn other people on to this incredible service. Okay, let's go ahead and launch Uber.
Uber, everyone's private driver trademark, set pickup location, ETA 12 minutes.
There's some options at the bottom of the screen, and those are the different types of Uber vehicles you can get, and that can vary from city to city. So I'll show you what I have. So most of the time I'm taking Uber X.
Selected. Uber X button. Uber XL button.
I flick to the right and I get Uber XL, and that's extra large.
Black car button.
Black car would be a limo, town car, something a bit nicer, maybe an SUV. And the price goes up with each of these things. I think that's all I have.
SUV button.
SUV. And then some cities have Uber Taxi, and in France I believe it was called Uber Mini. I've also seen other customized things come up. For example, the Sacramento Kings are nearby, so there's one icon that'll come up having to do with the Kings.
Center map button.
Center map, that has to do with mostly visual stuff in terms of setting a location. We're not going to do that.
Account menu button.
So I'm going to go to the account menu first and just show you some of the other options there before we get into launching a ride.
Get an Uber.
That's what you're going to do most of the time, get an Uber, and that's what it launches into.
Payment.
And this is a place where you can put more than one credit card. I have one for personal travel and one for business travel, so 2 different credit cards. And when I book a ride, whatever the last payment method I used will be the one that's still active.
Promotions.
And there are promotions from time to time. That's not where you get the sharing or get a free ride part.
Free rides.
That's the free rides where your code that's identified with your app and your account, then you can share that with others. I'll just go into that for a second.
Free. Share. Back button. Share your promo code CLVRN with friends and they'll get their first ride free, up to $20. Once they've tried Uber, you'll automatically get a free ride, up to $20, the next time you use Uber.
And I've seen other cities, sometimes there's a new city that's launched and it might be $30, but that can vary obviously.
Share Facebook button. Share via Twitter button. Text button. Email button.
And that's it, so I'm going to scrub back to the main screen.
Support.
Support is where you would go if you had a problem. For instance, if you had a dog rejection, or maybe you canceled a ride and you didn't do it quickly enough, or there's some special issue, you can go in there and send a message to support. I'll just tap and go in there for a second, let you see some of the
How
options.
can we help? Back button. Something went wrong. Contact support button. How can we help? Heading. Back button.
I'm going to go back. Those are the couple things that are in
Get
the
an
support
Uber.
menu. The last item on the account menu is
About. Back button. Rate us in the App Store, v2.66.0. Like us on Facebook.
So this has the normal
Get an
things, the
Uber.
version number and the privacy statement and so forth. So there's 2 key things, maybe 3, that you want to pay attention to on the main Get an Uber screen. First of all, make sure that the type of Uber you want is selected, and that'll be, again, the things at the bottom. It depends on how you flick to left and right, exactly how you'll get to those items, but they're visually at the bottom of the screen. Then towards the top is pickup location. That is distinguished from another item in the middle of the screen that's set pickup location. Set pickup location is when you're happy with the location, you're ready to launch and have the Uber come get you, you would click on that. So first of all, let's look at the pickup location.
Pickup location, 739 Miller Drive, button.
And it'll pick usually where you are, but it might be off a little bit. I'm right on the corner of 8th and Miller, so sometimes it'll put 208 8th Street instead of Miller. Let's say I'm at a different address or it has it wrong, and I'll show you how I will deal with the pickup location setting. So I'm going to tap on that.
Search field is editing. Word mode. Enter pickup location.
There'll be a number of places I've been before that are in the list. There's a history.
Work, 739 Miller Drive. Edit work address. Button. El Toro Bravo Mexican Kitchen, 2370 Street, Davis, C8. Button.
At the bottom of the screen is your normal touch keypad, and this is where you would put in your address, and then you would click
Search.
search, and then it'll come up with a list. Now be careful, because if there are similar names of places, particularly if you're searching for a point of interest in multiple cities, make sure that you pick the right one. Normally it will give the name of the POI, point of interest, plus the address or the city, so you'll know for sure. But sometimes it's a little bit ambiguous, so be careful that you don't set a pickup location that isn't where you are.
Selected. UberX. Button.
It takes me back to the main screen, and now I'll just make sure.
Pickup location. Work. Button.
So it says work because that's what I have it labeled as. I'm going to flick once to the right.
Set pickup location, ETA 14 minutes, button.
So ETA, estimated time of arrival. But certainly if you're in a place like San Francisco, you will have an Uber available very quickly, depending on what part of the city, within a couple of minutes.
Pickup location, set pickup location, ETA 12 minutes, button.
So it's already dropped to 12 minutes. So I'm going to click on that, double tap.
Confirmation.
This is the confirmation screen. I'm going to start at the top and flick down.
Pickup location, work, button.
So it repeats my pickup location.
Add destination, button.
You can add a destination for a couple of reasons. One is when you get into the vehicle, then the driver already has it in their app and you don't have to tell them and risk them getting it incorrect. So if you have time, enter that destination, and it works in the same way that your setting of your pickup location works.
Request UberX, button. Promo code, button. Fare estimate, button.
A fare estimate is also a reason you'd want to put in a destination so you can find out, particularly if it's a long ride, an estimation of what the rates will be.
Credits, on. Payment. Business visa ending in 4. Confirmation.
So you'll see that it gave me a confirmation of the business credit card that I'm using, the last 4 digits, and I'm ready to
Payment.
go.
Request UberX, button.
And now down at the bottom I have Request UberX.
Request UberX, button. Pickup time is approximately 14 minutes.
So on this screen, if you want to wait for the time of your pickup to go down or see how it evolves, you can flick to that item, and as it refreshes, it'll be announced to you. That's assuming that something doesn't change in the app, but that's the way it's working right now. And just to show you what's involved in canceling a ride, should you need to do that, I will take a real ride later with you. Let's go ahead and request it.
Request UberX, button.
Listen to what happens. So it's now searching for a driver. Somebody, the nearest driver to me, is getting an alert and they choose to accept the call or not.
Uber trip options, button. Driver, name, SUTAR, rating, 5.0, vehicle, Toyota Camry, license plate, 70.
So it gives me all the information about the driver. So I'm going to go through the trip options.
Fare split, button.
You can split the fare if you're going with more people.
Share my ETA, button.
You can share your ETA with somebody else that you might be meeting up with.
Cancel trip, button.
So I better cancel before he gets too close.
Driver, name, cancel trip, button. Are you sure you want to cancel? If you cancel 5 minutes after requesting, a fee may apply. For detail, yes.
So it's 5 minutes after requesting is when there might be a fee. Under Contact Driver, you can text the driver or call them. I often will call the driver or text them to let them know exactly where I am, if I'm on the curb or if I have some specific thing that will help them find me easier, because when they're close by, I obviously can't see their license plate or car type unless there's somebody around that can help me do that. I'm depending on them finding me, so I'll call them and give them a clue to how to find me. I don't always tell them about the dog because that could potentially scare them off, or it's too hard to explain over the phone. It's just easier to do once they're there in person. They don't actually have your phone number, so once you're done with the conversation, your number is masked. So you can't call the driver back either after your transaction is over with. Note also that this particular driver was 5.0. That's 5 stars, and that's obviously the highest rating you can get. You will rate the driver when you're finished with a ride, and the drivers also rate you. So if a driver's 4.9, 5.0, they're probably pretty darn good. If you give them a 4.0, just bear in mind that will drag down their number quite a bit, so do it with good reason. And of course, if you're really, really unhappy, you can drag their number down significantly with a 1.0. But it's nice to know when you're getting a driver just what their rating is, and then you can contribute to that yourself later on. There's a situation I want to tell you about that I can't demonstrate easily, so I want to tell you about it. It's called surge pricing. This happens when the demand is high for drivers and the price goes up. And this could be any variable 1.5 times, 2.5, 3 times. And there'll be details explained to you exactly how much it goes up, how much per minute, how much per mile. But the bottom line is you have to do a couple of things. You can cancel and wait till surge pricing goes down. You will be given an option to be notified when surge pricing goes down, so that's an easy way to track it. If you really need a ride and you're not going that far and it's worth it anyway, then you can click on Accept Surge Pricing. And depending on how much more the factor is, you may or may not have to do a second level of confirmation. If you don't have to do any other confirmation, it'll just go back to the confirmation screen. You request a ride and you continue. And if you get a screen with a number pad on the bottom, in the number pad in the shape of a telephone keypad, Then you have to enter the factor. So if they told you it was 2.1 times surge pricing, then you would have to put in 2.1. Once it sees those two digits, you don't put in a period, even though it is 2.1, just put in 2.1. Then you've confirmed that you understand how much more it's going to be. You're back to the confirmation screen, press request UberX, and then your driver will be summoned and you will pay that extra fare. You will tend to see this in big cities or around popular commute hours or when the theater lets out, times like that. If you have a really long ride and the fare would be super high if you pay 3 times as much, there's a couple of workarounds. One is you could take it for a short distance till you're out of the surge area and then terminate your ride and then get another ride that would be at normal fare. Or what I've done is in San Francisco, taken the BART to a stop a little bit further away where there isn't surge pricing and I'm out of the busy zone, and then I take it from there. But that's only if I'm going to be taking it for half an hour or 50 miles or something like that, and it would be really expensive. Otherwise, it's not worth the hassle to make those transitions. The good news is that my experience is Uber is usually cheaper than a taxi by quite a bit anyway. So even if you have to pay 1.5 times the fare, you're probably just going to be about what you'd be at it in a taxi anyway. Let's go take an actual Uber ride. I'm going to walk downtown and then take an Uber back. Okay, I've got my pickup location in there.
Set pickup location, ETA 2 minutes, button.
All right, 2 minutes, good.
Confirmation.
On the confirmation screen. Okay, I could set my destination, but I can also just tell the driver.
Request UberX, button. Your Uber is on the way. Mike, arriving now.
Okay, somebody was close by, so it vibrated the phone, gave me the sound alert.
Driver, name, Robert, rating, 4.9, vehicle, Toyota Prius, license plate, N0.
Okay, he should be pulling up in a minute.
ETA,
All right,
1
let's go
minute.
out to the curb. Robert?
Mike?
Hey, you're on Uber, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There. Oh, you got a little friend with you.
Yeah, this is my CNI dog Tank, and I'm headed home. I'll put him
We
here.
can do that.
I'll put him on the floor in the back if that's all right.
Not a problem.
Good boy, Tank. Okay. All right, I'll hop up front if that's okay.
That's perfect.
Okay, we're going to 739 Miller Drive.
Yes, I know where Miller is. So how you liking using Uber?
I love it. I love it. Here in a place like Davis, I walk a lot, but sometimes I need to get somewhere quickly, or during the winter, it's nice when it's raining to grab a ride or go into the Sacramento airport. It's really convenient. I just love being able to pull out the app and get a driver quickly, know lots of details, feel secure, safe, and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of the same reason I enjoy driving for Uber here in Davis is small community. I get some of the same kids over and over from the college. Some adults too.
Are you a student?
No, I'm not. I actually work for the state of California.
Okay.
Been there quite a long time, and was looking to do something else after I retired, and wanted to do something totally different than my regular state job. So somebody told me about Uber, and been doing it since September.
Oh, nice. You ever get any really long rides?
Yeah, periodically we'll get some rides down to San Francisco Airport, San Francisco, Oakland.
Well, I've taken Uber in France, Germany, Spain, Australia, and in quite a few U.S. cities. It varies a little bit from place to place, but I've always had a good experience, so I'm hooked.
Yeah. Now, how is it with Tank? Pretty easy to get him to ride, and
Yeah, some drivers are a little surprised that they've never had a CNI dog in their vehicle before, but they're cool about it. And of course, by the end of the ride, when they have this dog that's just sitting there not moving, what's there to say other than, wow, that's amazing?
all right, we're almost there.
I didn't use the feature this time, but I kind of like the fact that if I had put in my destination, I could share my ETA, let my wife know that I am en route and not just still hanging out at the pub.
All righty. Well, we
Okay.
have arrived.
All right, we have arrived. Great. Thank you, Robert. All right, Tank.
You guys have a good day. Hopefully we'll see you again.
Okay, thanks a lot. Let's go, Tank. Good boy. Have a good one. So if I wanted to give any good or negative feedback, I could choose that button and type in some details.
Need help, button. 1 star, button. 2 stars.
Here's the
button.
rating.
3 stars. 4 stars. 5 stars. Button.
5 stars.
Selected. 5 stars. Submit. Button.
And submit. Double tap.
Selected. UberX. Button.
Now I'm ready for my next ride. And then back at my computer, I will get an email with the details of the charges and the driver name. And
You got mail.
And then also I'm on Chase Alerts. It comes on my phone and it announces the $4 charge. So I've got all sorts of authentication as far as the details. A lot safer than being in a taxi and wrestling around with cash. It's better to travel hopefully than to arrive.